Hi, my name is Gemma. What is your name?
Officer Mandeville.
Officer Johnson.
Why did you want to become a police officer?
Well, I wanted to become a police officer because I thought that I'd be good at it, and I actually get to serve my community, the one that I grew up in, and so it's meaningful work to me.
Yeah. Why did you want to become a police officer?
So both my grandfathers were police officers, so I kind of grew up hanging out with them and hearing their stories and whatnot. But also my answer is a little similar to Officer Mandeville's in that I like the communities that I serve. A little background on me is just this is a part-time job for me, but my full-time job for the past 8 years has been in the village of Akron. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to school and everything. I always wanted to be a police officer there because I wanted to get back to a community that gave me so much growing up.
Yeah.
And I felt that I had a set of skills that could benefit people in the law enforcement, I guess, the law enforcement type mentality or situations.
That's really nice.
If you weren't a police officer, what would you want to be?
If I wasn't a police officer, I'd want to be a full-time farmer. That's always been my dream job, other than being a law enforcement officer.
That's nice. I like growing crops too.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is fun. And what about you? What would you be if you weren't a police officer?
So it's a tough question for me because from such a young age, this is what I wanted to do, and I think that that's why I found a true profession that I wanted to be in. I think that, if it's not something that your heart's truly in, you can't really do this job. But if I had to pick something, I'd probably want to get into some sort of like athletic training, or there was a time when I wanted to be a professional lacrosse player, and I tried that, didn't work out, so then I became a police officer.
Yeah, that's nice. My cousin also plays lacrosse, so. What does a typical day look like for a police officer?
So any place that you work is kind of different. For my job specifically, I can kind of set my own pace. If there's no calls or anything like that, I can interact with the community and build some relationships, which I really enjoy. We're not super busy some days, so we have opportunities to interact with the public and make good relationships.
What about you?
Well, any given day, anything can be different. We could go, our whole shift with just driving around and not doing a whole lot, or it can be, call to call from the start, because this job brings that, and that's what makes this job exciting. That no 2 days are really ever the same. Some days are easier than others, some days aren't. But playing off of what my partner said there, this is what we kind of consider more rural policing, or it's kind of like in the country. We're not policing cities, so we do have time to interact with the community more, and it's just a different atmosphere out here, and I think that's why both of us chose the spots that we've chosen to work.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Do you ever get afraid when you're on a call?
I'm more afraid sitting behind this camera talking to you guys, but let me ask you a question.
What?
Do you know what courage is?
I forgot.
You forgot? Okay. Well, when most people think of courage, it's just they think of people who are brave or people who just go and do things and are never afraid. But in terms of law enforcement, I mean, we're humans that are going into events that are tragic. We see tragic events that some people might only experience once in their lifetime. We may experience it multiple times in a shift. So when you think of courage, and when we talk about courage, it's not necessarily that we're never afraid. It's just there's times when we are afraid, and anybody who tells you otherwise is probably lying to you. There's times when we're afraid, but the difference between law enforcement officers and other people necessarily is we may be afraid, but we're going to go anyways. So it's that we have that ability to see past whatever we may be afraid of and be able to still go and help people, because that's what we do, whereas other people may not, and that's why we're law enforcement officers, or that's why we chose to do this.
Thank you for sharing. Do you ever get afraid when you're on a call?
So just to add on to what my partner said just a little bit about just having courage. Truthfully, yes, I've been afraid before when I've gone to certain calls. But it's my job to protect others. And which I take seriously. And even if I'm afraid, I use that to do the best job that I can do.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Do you actually like donuts?
In moderation, yes, I like donuts.
What about you? Do you like donuts?
I actually do not like donuts. And if you ask this guy, I have my whole lunchbox in my car right now, so. And they'll tell you that I eat really healthy stuff, so no donuts here.
Well, healthy is always good. A good route. What is your favorite type of donut?
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Those are good. What is your favorite snack?
The only answer to that is tacos. And yes, I eat a whole taco as a snack.
Tacos are yummy.
Yeah,
It's Tuesday, so Taco Tuesday.
that's why I said it.
Thank you for coming here and spending your time with us.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for asking me your questions.
Hello, my name is Gabriel. What's your name?
Hi, Gabriel. My name's Officer Gross. My first name is Steve.
Thank you for letting me know.
Of course.
Why did you want to become a police officer?
Well, I really like people, and when you're a police officer, you get to meet a lot of different kinds of people, and you get to meet new people every single day and talk to new people every day. So I also knew that the job was really exciting, and you got to do a lot of cool things, and that the work was changing every single day.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. What made you want to be an elementary schooler?
I was forced to.
Yeah, me too.
Hi, my name's Ava. Can I ask you a couple questions?
Of course you can, Ava.
Well, how long have you been a police officer?
I've been a police officer for 8 years.
Thanks for telling me that. Do you like the Buffalo Bills?
I do like the Buffalo Bills, yes.
Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player on the Bills is probably Dawson Knox, because I got to meet him one time, and he's a really nice guy.
Nice. My favorite player is Allen.
Josh Allen's very cool, too.
Thank you for that interesting things to tell me about you.
You're very welcome, Ava.
What do you do at the police station?
What do I do at the police station? Usually when I'm there, if I go back to the station, it's either because somebody wanted to meet me there to talk about police stuff, or I have reports to do, because every time you do something as a police officer, you have to write a report on it. So, do you ever do reports in school, or write book reports, anything like that? It's kind of like that, but I have to do like 10 a day. So, and then when I'm not at the station, I drive around in my car and go to calls and write tickets if people are speeding.
Thank you for telling me that.
Of course, thanks for asking.
Hi, my name is Sophia. What's your name?
Hi, Sophia. My name's Officer Gross.
What does a typical day look like as a resource officer at our school?
Well, when I come in, the first thing I do is I do what's called my morning check-ins, and I walk around to both schools and I talk to some of the teachers I know and some of the counselors and the principals, and I make sure that everything's going okay and they don't have anything that they want me to look into. And then what I do is I walk around and I check the buildings and I make sure all the doors are locked and that nobody can get in. And then from there forward, I basically just walk around the school and talk to kids, and anything that comes up during the day I handle.
That's cool. Thanks for telling me that.
Of course, thanks for asking.
If you weren't a police officer, what would you want to be?
Oh boy. I probably would have done something either in teaching, because I do like kids and I do like teaching, or I would have joined the NBA. But I wanted to be a cop more. That's the only reason I didn't join the NBA.
That's cool. What does the MBA stand for?
The NBA is the National Basketball Association. And the only reason I'm not playing in the NBA is because I wanted to work here with you guys. So, no other reason.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When someone calls 911, how do they know what or who to send for help?
Well, we have what's called dispatchers at our 911 center, and they're specially trained to help people who are calling, because a lot of times when people call 911, some bad things are happening. So the dispatchers are specially trained to ask people different questions to see what's going on, and then based off the answers to those questions, they know whether to send police or firefighters or an ambulance, or sometimes they send all of us.
Thank you for telling me that.
Thanks for asking, Autumn.
Thank you for coming here and answering our questions instead of keeping people safe.
I promise I can do both, but you're very welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Ellie. What's your name?
My name's Officer Wolcott. What's your name?
I'm Ellie.
Ellie what?
Dukowski.
Okay.
Why did you want to become a police officer?
To pick on little kids like you. Just kidding. Alright. No, not really. It's something I always wanted to do. I always had a passion for it. I have family members in law enforcement, so I always wanted to do this. This is something that I've always enjoyed, and enjoyed the camaraderie between everybody, and also along with the unknown of what you're going to get into day in and day out.
Nice. How do you become a police officer?
Well, you see, you go up to the chief and say, "Hey, chief, how much money can I give you and you'll be a police officer?" No, I'm just kidding. No, you gotta go through the academy. You gotta go through school. You gotta get an associate's degree. Okay. Sometimes you know. Sometimes you mean high school. And then you gotta go ahead and take a test. All right. It's called a civil service test. Once you take a civil service test, at that point in time, then you're gonna end up going on to an academy, and you gotta pass a PT test. You gotta pass a background, a psychological, sometimes a polygraph. So there's a long process you gotta go through. All right. There's a few different ways you can do it as well.
That's a lot of big words.
For a big guy.
Can you pet a police dog?
So every police dog is very different. So some of them they can because they're very friendly and they're family oriented, and others not so much. So it all depends on who the canine handler is and whether or not they will allow it.
Well, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
If you weren't a police officer, what would you want to be?
If I wasn't a police officer, my dream was always to be an NHL hockey player. So that's what I would have done, which I pursued that for a short period of time prior to being a police officer.
That's cool.
Cool like you?
What team would you want to play on?
The team that I'd want to play on is Detroit Red Wings. They have a lot of history in their organization, and plus they're my favorite team. Along with my favorite goaltender of all time was Dominik Hasek. But the opportunity that I got to play professional hockey is with the Elmira Jackals.
Do you have a police dog, and do they get to come to school?
Unfortunately, I do not have a police dog. I have a dog that is a German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix, but he's not a police dog. I do have multiple friends that are canine handlers, and I do get to play with them every once in a while and do training, but I do not actually personally have one that can bring with me on the job.
Do they get to come to school?
Unfortunately, no, they don't get to come to school. They're too nice of a dog. They wouldn't bite any little kids. Just kidding. Oh, what? Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a ticket?
Yes, I've gotten 4 tickets.
How?
Well, I was like Flash 100-yard dash in Zootopia and drove really fast. Got a speeding ticket. You ever seen that movie? No. Whew. All right. Any other questions?
Did you learn your lesson?
I did. I learned my lesson really quickly because it's very costly to get tickets. So as I hand out tickets myself, I'm appreciative of the tickets that I received and what I do in my job.
What is the gear that you wear, and why do you wear it?
Well, so this is a bulletproof vest, okay? And this is to stop any sort of bullets that would come after you. Obviously, high-powered rifles, things of that nature, don't always stop through this. But this way, if in the event someone were to try to shoot at me, I would have something that protects me. And hopefully in the event I wouldn't die, I would maybe just be injured at worst. And then I have a flashlight, so at nighttime I can see in people's vehicles, because you just never know what's in there. I got a flashlight here so I can look at people's licenses and registrations when I request for them. I got some stuff right here, which is a highlighter, so I can highlight people's court dates. And I got a little pen for my handcuffs, okay, so in case I have to handcuff somebody, then I unhandcuff them. I got some pens in here so that I can write on my index cards, which are right here, okay? My index cards here are what I write down for people's information, so if I were to come to your house and ask for your information, I'd write it down on that. I got a tourniquet in case I was bleeding or somebody else was, I could use that on myself or somebody else. Alright, I got a watch that I wear all the time, this way I know what time it is, okay? Because us police officers are not the brightest sometimes, you know? Alright, and then we wear shoes, we make sure we wear boots, alright? This way, you know, it's hopefully protects our feet better than what sneakers would.
That's interesting. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Thank you for answering our questions today.
Absolutely, thank you for having me over here, I appreciate it. It was a joy playing out with you guys.